So a lot of times we hear in the martial arts that different styles are different branches of the same tree with the same set of roots, or that different arts are different pathways up the same mountain. And these are very esoteric concepts, and they make sense and they cause us to scratch our chin a little bit, but beyond that, we don't really get much out of it. There aren't very tactile sensations of how these concepts come together. What I'd like to do is explain one thing today where we can see the same concept used throughout different arts, and actually different aspects of the same art. And it's called diamond stepping. Now, this is a footwork heavy concept, but you'll see how it quickly applies to the way that we orient to an opponent. Now, just as the name suggests, what we want to do here is we start with our opponent a rough fighting distance away from us. So, at this point, I can simply step in and touch him, and he can step in and touch me. So, what we want to do is, on the floor in between us, we want to envision a diamond, as the name suggests. Now, what that looks like is, with the left foot, I can step out on a point in between us, and step in directly to my opponent. Back and down. Conversely, I can go the other way, step into a point, and step into my opponent. And back. Now, intersecting that diamond is a linear line forward, or a linear line side to side. So these are all the basic ways that the body can orient from one way to the other, taking 45-degree angles, taking a straight line. Now, the catch is, the 2 points of the diamond don't have to be spread apart. In fact, if I simply encroach the distance here, I'm still on one point, but he becomes the center of the diamond. So in that way, I can step across from him and behind him. Conversely, I can step across from him and behind him. Same, there's a line running straight through him and straight across from him. Now, if we take this at its base level, you can see how it applies in any sort of kumite or sparring situation. So, if he's up in an on-guard position, and he throws a punch of any variety, I can shift offline using the first angle of the diamond. He steps back, throw something else please. Here, offline on the diamond. Now, if you're paying attention here, you can start to see how this orients into our partner. So if I complete the diamond and move in, I start to see a lot more openings into my partner. So what that looks like is, if he throws that same technique, I can come in and direct. So that time I didn't involve all footwork, I simply extended the hand out to the next part of the diamond. Again, different techniques. 1, and now 2. 3. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now, if he decides he wants to start getting loopy and throw a hook punch, okay, I can step directly in and create a straight line. So if he tries to use the diamond style stepping on me, I can circumvent it using a linear line. So let's look at how that manifests in a few different styles. First we'll look at karate. So when he has a technique and he begins to come in, my major tools of karate are blocking, striking, tuite, grabbing, etc. So what I want to do is I want to use my balance to shift and strike quickly with as little delay between the blocks and the strikes as possible. So he comes in with a strike here, this way. And all I'm doing is a slight off orientation and a reorientation into where he's inevitably going to be. So again, here, here, here. So let's loosen up a little bit, and I'm going to let him throw just a few punches and show a little more liveliness. So, loosen up. Okay, hit. So that last one was a linear interjection, because his punch was coming around a little more fluid. So next let's take a look at an Aikido Jiu-Jitsu technique. So when we're looking at some more of the grappling techniques, you'll notice that the distance closes in quite a bit. So as opposed to this more sparring distance, we're going to move in just a touch tighter. Here, this way. Now, if in this environment, I now shift the diamond so that he's in the center of it. Now from this distance, it's very likely he'll throw a hook style technique. So if he punches, hey, good, nice and fast, full speed. We create our first step as a simple body shift here this way. Now the window is opened for us to step through, so we move and then complete the diamond. Here. So once again, full speed. Right through, up, and around. Good. Now, another option. We've gone through our opponent and completed. But what happens if we go and complete the diamond this way, escape this way? You might find that that also works. So he throws again, right? Interception, here, turn, and complete down. Here, this way. Good. Let's look at that once more. Okay. And around here. So that same footwork has applied. Now, if we look at perhaps if we look at a more of a Motobu style technique, you'll find that this footwork becomes smoothed out. However, the concept stays the same. Less aggressive, more smooth, but same concept. So if he comes in with a choke style, I step in and back. And then I flow into him and around. Here. Okay? Another example, do like a choke or a punch, isn't it? In, up, here, and around here. This way. You'll find that if you follow George Alexander's work on the Bubishi, there's actually some subtle mentions to this same technique all the way back to that book. And that is a highly Chinese Gung Fu influenced book. As Alexander Sensei says, there's a phrase that goes, get behind your enemies the way dogs do. And what that refers to is orienting this way, finding a way to scoot and get behind. So in some way completing that turn so that way you then have gotten behind. Now this concept can extend even further away from open hand. So let's extend the idea just a little bit further. We have this same motion, however, in Kobudo. Now the interesting thing is that the distance changes. However, the movement does not. It can be used for any Kobudo implement to great effect. So in Okinawa Kempo, we have a regimen or a routine called Bo Tumfo. And in that routine, we have a moment where the Bo user fades back away from our Tumfo user. And now I would actually want to be just a touch further. When I'm ready, I come up, I gather myself, and I step offline and create a low sweeping technique and follow through with the left foot as such. Here. Now from here, I step through with the right foot and then pivot around with the left foot and strike high. Now if I reverse that order, it comes 1, 2, and 3 all the way back. So one more time. We're here, coming up and through. Here. Coming up. And through the right. As you're examining this concept, you may find it in your art. In fact, I bet that you would. It has at its core, it has a very solid foundation in removing the target, stepping offline, or intercepting the target directly linearly. So there's only a few ways the body can actually move, and this encompasses all of them. So as you're moving, you can shift offline, you can make it smooth, or you can make it very abrupt. It's all up to your style and ultimately how you choose to use it. So, do me a favor and just throw some techniques, just throw some punches and stuff. Doesn't matter.
I was trying to get the edge